Hello, my friends. Welcome to Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. This is Jennifer. Welcome back to my sewing room, my friends. I have a lot of new subscribers, so if you're new here today, thank you so much for joining us. This is my weekly show and tell. I've been doing this since 2009, just video blogging, whatever I happen to be working on. Quite a few of my friends do it too, so if you're interested in their stuff, you can check out talktometuesday.wordpress.com. There's always a link in the description. This is my safe space, and this is where we talk about crafts and creativity, and you are more than welcome here. Last week I showed you guys a shirt that has been kicking around my family for over 30 years, and my husband reminded me that he wore it when we eloped. Kind of forgotten about that, which makes it even more special, and he is absolutely right. He did wear this shirt. So just a refresher, I had sized it down for myself. I had brought the shoulders in, made the sleeves short instead of long, and made it shorter for myself. And when I showed it to you last week, I'll put some video here. When I was showing it to you last week, I had holes in the shoulders, and I had asked you guys if you had any suggestions for what I could do to make it last a little longer. I love mending and patching my clothes, but I was sort of drawing a blank, and I had a lot of really great suggestions. And Michelle's was the one that I decided to go with. She suggested, I should say a variation of her suggestion. She suggested machine embroidery, like freestanding lace. I could do something and insert some lace here. And I loved that. But then I was like, you know, this shirt is really soft and crepey, and I want something that feels the same. So I dug through my stash looking for lace or something similar that would work, or some fabric that felt similar, and I couldn't find anything that I liked. So on Friday I went thrifting and I found this shirt. First I made sure that the shirt looked more or less like my shirt. I got it for $4 and change at my local thrift store. I actually did a reverse image search on this shirt because I thought it was so cute, and it's actually a knockoff of like a designer shirt. So I won't be purchasing that anytime soon, but if I run across another one, I really liked it. This one was like extra small petite or something like that, so there was no way it was going to fit me, but it was perfect for what I wanted. So I ended up opening up the seam on the side and just using it like fabric. I made basically applique patches that I put on the shoulders. So the way I got this shape was to actually just, I did on this side, I actually just put a piece of paper on top and I sketched around the edges of where I wanted it to be, and this was the shape. And then I used that to make myself a little pattern out of freezer paper, and this worked great. It was, one side was slightly different, so I just had to press it under a little bit differently. I did make a little patch here, so I patched the holes that were on the inside first, and then this went right on top of the fabric. I didn't cut anything away, so all the raw edges are encased, and I've already washed those, so this is what it came out like after I washed it. The neck, I showed you guys last week, was very frayed, and actually I decided to I was just going to take it off. I was just going to pull the neck off and maybe use some bias or something just to close it off. And what happened was the little stand neck that was on here, I pulled the seam on the outside, which is where it was stitched. It was top stitch, and when I unfolded it, I realized that I could take it off and all of that inside fabric was still intact. So I literally took what was inside and I just folded it down and top stitched it. It was so easy, and it surprised me that I was able to do that, but I think it came out perfect. I did lose a button, and I did have to put a little extra piece of fabric here from cutting off the buttonhole, but I don't think you can tell, and I am very happy with it. I love this mending job. And I don't know, I feel like this fabric looks like it was meant to be there. I don't think there's any way in the world I'll get another 30 years out of this shirt, but I'll be happy for another couple. I did work a little bit on my half square triangle blocks. I want to thank you guys who have given me some ideas. A couple of the suggestions I had, I've already done blocks in of that flavor, so to speak. But if you have ideas for blocks that are 16 half square triangles, let me know. I'm only using half square triangles, so I'm not adding any other fabric or anything like that. So far, so good. I've had a great time doing this. And honestly, if I don't find enough of the ones that I like, I might just repeat a couple. It's going to be so scrappy, I don't know that you would notice. So these two are the ones that were on the wall last week as just half square triangle units, and I did get those pieced together. And then these two are the ones that I've added for this week. So I'm trying to do one sampler, and one of the fillers each time that I piece them. And when I started, I was pressing to the dark side, which is what I always do. And I found that to be a little bulky on some of the points. So the next set of half square triangles I made, I went ahead and pressed them open, and much easier time just piecing them and much easier time pressing them. So I'm probably going to press the rest open. I have one more little random thing that I want to share, which is a little inspiration that I found in a catalog that showed up in the mail, which was Coldwater Creek. I bought something from them ages ago, and of course I've been getting catalogs for the rest of my life. And I really like their vibe, but their clothes tend to be a little expensive. And I am such a thrift store girl that I just don't like to buy new clothing unless I can avoid it. There are obviously some things that I buy new, and not to get into TMI, but like, you know, obviously like underwear and stuff, I don't buy those from the thrift store. But all my jeans, all my shirts, jackets, and everything like that, those are thrifted because that's just the way that I like to roll. But I did run across this image of this shirt, and I like the vibe of it. I do have a white button-down shirt that has a collar that I'm thinking about altering, and then going through all of my floral, let me get a little close up of that, going through like all of my floral designs. And I don't want to replicate this so much, I just want to use it as inspiration. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do it as like a summery shirt, so a short sleeve shirt, and I'll maybe take the collar off and just have that dripping floral embroidery, because I just think it looks fantastic. It is primary election day here in Texas. I voted last week. If you guys haven't voted in the primary yet and you have that going on now, please do that. It is important. For everyone watching today, I hope that you have a good week. I hope you have a crafty week. I am sending you my heart and my love, and I hope you find a safe space to just breathe a little bit this week, and I will see you next week. Bye.